Welcome back to CryptosRus. I'm George. We're all George. Unfortunately, we got some more bad news due to Gary Gensler, one of the biggest exchanges in the US, Binance US, gets cut off. So what is that about? Let's discuss. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. There we go. The market bell has just rung. And let us see. Today, U.S. market is looking like at least NASDAQ wants to go green. Okay, and Tesla is still like on fire right now, about 250-ish, almost. But today, of course, the big story actually came out last night. Well, no, not that one. This one, unfortunately, one of the big exchanges in the U.S., Binance US, is getting cut off. From who? From the banking system. So they sent a tweet yesterday basically saying that they have been warned by their banking partners, that, they don't want to do business with Binance US anymore. So, unfortunately, that means once they end their relationship, which could be coming as soon as June 13th, Binance US will be pure crypto, meaning there will be no more fiat on-ramp or fiat off-ramp. Okay, doesn't mean that the exchange is shutting down. You could still deposit and withdraw using crypto, using Tether, using USDC, but the fiat part is getting cut off. So we're starting to see this now, and people have asked about this for a long time. Like, what if the U.S., right? What if all the banks cut off their fiat on-ramp, off-ramp? Unfortunately, it's going to come eventually, but just hoping it wasn't this soon, right? So that's the latest news. And this is, of course, due to Gary Gensler, right? This could be part of the plan all along. Even though he knew that at the time of filing that there was no way he was going to win against Binance or Coinbase, he's putting at least pressure on them and maybe putting pressure on the banks, or maybe helping the banks do this. So because maybe banks were getting worried and banks went up to Gary and said, hey, you need to do something. We are losing to these guys, right? Help us in some way. That actually makes more sense. Well, keep in mind, Gary worked at Goldman Sachs for decades, okay? So maybe this gives them a reason to say, okay, we're cutting off. Otherwise, there were no reasons before. So that's the latest, unfortunately. So if you are using Binance US, I am, right? Just know that fiat on-ramp, off-ramp will be cut off by June 13th. So if you do need to move USD off of it, you probably need to do so right away. But afterwards, the exchange will still operate as normal. You can still withdraw if you wanted to, right? It's just a fiat portion. But still, that's a huge portion, and it sucks. As far as I know, the other exchanges in the US, like Coinbase, Gemini, Kraken, their fiat system is still okay. But if the banks are looking for an excuse to cut off, this is the best excuse they have. So hopefully it doesn't move to the other exchanges in the US, but we will see. In the meantime, though, again, there must be some agenda, right, from Gary. We don't know what it is. I think we could speculate. He's in it. He's helping the banks. He's helping CBDCs. He's helping whoever, the current administration maybe, to crack down and get rid of crypto. I mean, but you even have Congress people now who are working working on a framework for crypto. They are accusing Gensler of being in contempt because they're even saying that Gensler is overstepping and basically invalidating what they're trying to do, which is come out with a new framework for crypto regulations. But instead, Gensler thinks he knows better and he's just doing whatever he wants now, right? So, I mean, I'm saying even Congress people I mean, Gensler's using Congress like, okay, I'm just enforcing the laws of Congress. But even Congress people are saying, no, you're not. You're just doing whatever you want. That's what's happening right now. And even one senator says that, hey, Gensler's doing this because he wants to pave way for CBDC. And this is something not everyone wants. Actually, in fact, I would argue very little people want a CBDC, a digital dollar, right? We know that the Fed Now program is already out, but for a true CBDC to be out, not there yet. But again, what's Gary's true motives here? To help the banks? Probably. To help pave way for CBDC? Probably. Maybe he's trying to help the big boys, the big brokerages, to become the new custodians of CBDCs and not the big exchanges. Possibly too. I mean, there's something going on. There's a larger hidden agenda, not even conspiracy. There's a hidden agenda that we just haven't placed the pieces together for, but there's something going on. These are acts of a desperate man, and that's what's happening, right? The U.S. House Committee releases new stablecoin bill draft. Again, first example of crypto regulation in the U.S. See, you have Congress right now, or at least certain parts of Congress, they're trying to come up with frameworks for certain things, right? I mean, they're trying to stay with the times because Europe is already doing it. So U.S. is trying to follow, right? But when you have Gary throwing a wrench in everything, now declaring stablecoins securities, declaring staking securities, a plethora of project securities, no one could keep up, right? And I think that's the point. No one could keep up. He just wants to mess things, I don't know, cause massive confusion right now. Also, what he's trying to do is make DEXs securities. So Paradigm, I guess they are a VC firm. They got wind that what the SEC is trying to do right now is also label DEXs as security exchanges, right? DEXs like Uniswap, they are controlled by smart contracts, not really controlled by anyone. These DEXs just operate as decentralized code, basically. Even Gary wants to go after them too, saying that they are helping facilitate the trade of securities, right? Again, Gary just wants to make everything a security in the U.S., right? Like every single thing that has anything to do with crypto becomes a security and must register, and somehow no one knows how to do that. So essentially, he shuts everything down. That's essentially what he's trying to do. But again, is he going to be successful? I think not. And here's a big reason why. Here's a big reason why. The Ripple case. Actually, we already got another lawsuit and another judgment that actually helps with this. So before the Ripple case, there was another case called Library, much smaller project that caved in. Basically, the SEC sued them, saying that they had a legal token offering and that Library itself was a security because it was being traded on the open market, on a secondhand market, on exchanges. And basically, that lawsuit bankrupted them. But the good news that came out of it was the judge said that just because Library is being sold on the second market or the open market does not make it a security. The judge said, no, that's ridiculous. Okay, so if you apply the same logic to the Ripple case, that would mean the same thing. Just because XRP is being sold on exchanges does not make it a security. Okay, so if the courts, again, rule this way, that XRP is not a security just because it's being traded, well, then the dozen of crypto projects that Gary just recently named securities, well, then there's no case on them, whether they're a security or not, right? The reason why Gary basically said they were securities, and this includes Cardano, Polygon, Solana, Cosmos, Axie, Decentraland, Algorand, Sandbox, and a few others. Basically, his argument why they're securities is because they're being traded on Coinbase and Binance, right? But just because they're being traded does not make them securities. Well, then there's like really no argument. Gary really has no argument against these exchanges, right? So that could be absolutely massive and just wipe out everything, wipe out all the lawsuits. So this case is going to be huge, the Ripple case, and many people feel like that this is coming to an end. This is coming to an end soon, very soon. And when Ripple wins, it's going to send shockwaves throughout the industry. And the SEC and Gary specifically are going to look like losers, okay? And more people will be laughing at them. So basically, this whole thing might be over sooner than expected. So yeah, we'll see. We will see. And as for XRP, the price has decoupled from market FUD because there are a lot of people that do think that Ripple is going to win and XRP will be skyrocketing afterwards, right? But right now, like someone like Coinbase, they're also not scared too. I mean, they're like, we're not delisting anything. We're not removing our staking service. We're not shutting down our custody service, right? We will continue to operate as is. And Binance outside the US, CZ, he's not scared either. But unfortunately, Binance.US, well, the banks cut them off. And I'm wondering if the banks will try to cut off Coinbase too, or Crypto.com, or anyone else that's in the US. We will see. We will see. All right, outside of all this nastiness, Bitcoin is still doing its thing. Very similar. Oops. All right. Got disconnected for a little bit. Now I'm back. Gary's trying to shut down my stream right now. Looking at right now, 2023 versus 2019, very similar. Very similar indeed. So again, are we going to get that push in July going up to $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 in July? We'll see. We'll see. But long term, people like Cathie Wood and ARK Invest, they're not scared either. Cathie Wood just bought a ton of Coinbase stock, knowing that Coinbase is going to pull through this. Coinbase is not going to go anywhere. And according to their analysts, by 2030, the worst case, absolute worst case for Bitcoin, in a bear market case, Bitcoin will be $260,000 in 2030. Okay. Now, the best case scenario for Bitcoin in 2030 is $1.5 million each. This is each, people. This is not like just a regular dollar denomination of a bucket of Bitcoins. No, it's each. And in the mid scenario, base case, Bitcoin will be at 683,000 each by 2030. This is how bullish Cathie Wood and ARK Invest are in Bitcoin. Okay? Worst case scenario, $260,000 each. Think about that. And the reason being is because she believes Bitcoin is to pull liquidity from all these other asset classes. Okay? From gold, from emerging markets, from corporate treasury bonds, things like that. So, what's another 7 years, right? What's another 7 years? We got a halving event that's coming up, and then we have another halving event after that. So, good stuff. Good stuff indeed. And as for non-US news, well, the EU, starts countdown to crypto legislation, adding MICA to official journal. I think that's how you say it, or MICA, MICA, right? Which is basically a framework for crypto assets. This is exactly what Congress is trying to do right now.